Hi everyone and welcome back to One Autistic Person. This is the 20th video in a 50 video series that I'm doing going through the statements and questions of the Autism Quotient, which is a pre-screening questionnaire that is often used as part of the diagnosis process for autism. While I was going through that process, I did find that the focus on deficit was quite difficult to deal with. So what I wanted to do was create some videos where I can share my experience of how I feel that these things are either, that they can either have a benefit to us, that they're positive, or if not, what adjustments I can put in place or any mitigations. And I'd love to hear what everybody else has to think about these, whether they feel that there are benefits to it, that they're positives, or any adjustments. I'd love to hear that, and I'd love people to share that experience with each other, because I think it's really difficult for us to see things in a positive light sometimes when it comes to, especially when you're going through the diagnosis process and just after it. So I think this is a really good way of going, let's look at this differently. As I say, this is the 20th question or statement, which is, when I'm reading a story, I find it difficult to work out the character's intentions. Now, I'm giving the answers that I actually gave on the Autism Quotient as part of the diagnosis process, which I put on this slightly agree. Well, I've actually kind of over time realised this would probably be a bit more of a definitely agree, because I think it goes a bit deeper than just reading stories. I think this is a way of asking a question without asking it too harshly. But first of all, I'll go into how I feel about with reading a story, which is where I've said slightly agree. So when I'm reading a book, I often don't see what's coming. I often don't see what's going to happen with that character. A lot of people are reading through something and they think that they know something about them, and it's like I kind of don't. I can't understand what that person's intentions are. I can't understand what their next moves are going to be. Which makes reading books quite interesting because of the fact I often don't work things out. I really try to work what people's intentions are out, and maybe I get it right just by pure luck. I often am shocked what happens at the end of a story because I wasn't expecting that character arc to be the way that it was. I know some stories are supposed to be like that, but even when it's meant to be quite obvious, I really won't pick up on it. The good thing about that is that I can read a book over and over again, and I still don't, because I don't still see the intentions behind the character. It kind of feels like I'm reading it for the first time, and I see more from it the next time, and I get as much enjoyment out of reading a book over and over again, or watching a TV show over and over again, because I feel like I'm watching it for the first time, but with the safety of kind of knowing what's going to happen in the end, but it still has that same feeling for me. So I feel like that's a real positive to it, because being able to read a good story over and over again and still have the same feeling as when you read it the first time is beautiful. There's some stories that I want to read over and over again, and that I want to feel the same way that I felt when I first read it. So yeah, I think that's a huge positive. One of the things where if I was to change this into definitely agree, which is where, like I say, I think this question is kind of getting at without saying it, because I think it's difficult to answer that question for yourself. And I think when my housemate did one of the questionnaires around knowing me, he said that I was easily manipulated. So that's one of the questions that's on one of the on the questionnaire that's used to, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's used to ask your informant, so somebody who knows you well, about you now. So we had one about knowing me now, and there was one about knowing me more historically. So known me for more than 2 years, but not since I was a child. So sort of talking about how, I think I was kind of looking at maybe how I mask and stuff like that as well. But anyway, that's totally off topic. But I was easily manipulated, and I think where I turn this to definitely agree is that I don't understand people's intentions. So I am always baffled when people do things that I really don't expect, like lie, for instance. I really don't understand when people lie about something that covers something up that was really not necessary. I've had it very recently going back to work after being off for 2.5 months due to various different reasons, but where somebody's come in and said, oh, do you know you should have done this? They've said, I didn't know that I should have done it, even though they've previously done it and have definitely been shown, and they said, I haven't been shown. No one's ever told me how to do this. And I don't understand why you would say that when you know full well you definitely have been shown that. And when I've spoken to other people about sort of my boss and things like that, they've said, well, it's just them covering their tracks because they don't want to have to say they did something wrong. Whereas for me, I will always just say I forgot, or I somebody's probably told me, but I don't remember it, or whatever the truth is will be the answer to it. But I don't automatically go to it being somebody else's fault. I struggle to understand reading between the lines with people as well. So when people tell me what they feel, I take them at face value. So I don't necessarily read between any lines, whether that's social cues, whether she says something to me, I will just take it literally. For me, it's very literal. And the thing that makes it slightly agree with a book is it's a linear storyline. So it makes it so that this is the beginning, the middle, and the end of something. Whereas when it's actually face to face with somebody, when it's actually with another human being, there's a lot more to it, and it's not as easy as just going, well, this is the story, the beginning of the story, this is the end of the story. There's more to it. So I would definitely agree if this was changed to I don't always understand people's intentions, because I often don't understand people's intentions and misinterpret those intentions. Sometimes I think somebody is angry when they're not angry, or they're happy when they're not happy. I really struggle reading other people's emotions, and which probably comes from me being having alexithymia, that I struggle to describe my own emotions. So my automatic go-to is that I don't understand what other people's emotions are and how they're feeling about things. But I often think somebody's definitely supporting everything that I'm saying, and then it actually comes out that they really weren't, and it makes it very complicated for me, because it's like we had conversations where I felt very clear on the fact that you were in support of this thought process, and then you've said something completely different to somebody else. So, and then afterwards will say to me, well, I thought I'd made it obvious, I didn't know how to say it to you. And or there's somebody's beaten around the bush or used idioms or something that I've just not understood, that has made it so that I then am so confused by what that person's intentions are that it makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then a barrier comes up, and I kind of find it very difficult to continue communicating with that person. So yeah, this one I think has a much deeper meaning to it. For me, on the mitigation that I've put in place on the not getting people's intentions is that I just ask more questions and sort of say, you are definitely okay with this. If you're not okay with it, let me know. Is there more information you want to give to me about it? Do you want more information from me? So it's about me making sure I 100% understand. And then if the person afterwards changes their mind, that's very different, and it's not necessarily somebody's intention in the first place. But giving that open conversation to say, tell me the truth, tell me what you truly feel about this, and then you can kind of understand what somebody's intentions are, and I think it's just a matter of asking questions and going deeper into things. With a book scenario, I don't think there's any mitigation or anything you need to put in there. I think it just is what it is. You'll get to the end of the story and you'll know what the intentions were. Everything will come together. If it's a good story, it's going to have an ending that brings everything together for you, and just enjoy the ride of the fact that you're not getting what it is that the intention of this person. I enjoy the fact that I don't understand what they're doing until the end. It makes it a good surprise. It makes it a good reread, as I've said. And like I say, it's to me, it's a positive to not necessarily know the intentions of a character. It's much more complex when you don't understand the intentions of the people around you, because you can misread it and think that somebody's happy when they're not, as I've said, or unhappy happy when they're not, which is kind of okay. You can kind of deal with that one. It's just a matter of asking, are you okay? But the opposite side of that, if somebody's unhappy and you think they're happy, or you think they're okay with things, and you haven't picked up on those social cues or those their real intentions on things, this one I could probably talk about for ages, because of the fact that I find it extremely complex trying to read between the lines, and people, as I say, use metaphor and idioms, which make it very difficult for me to be able to work out their intentions, and often that's the reason why I've missed those social cues, or missed the fact they've said something which I just didn't get, or they've made a joke about it and they've seen it as a joke and I just saw it serious. Saying, yeah, I'd really love to do that, and they were being sarcastic and I just didn't pick up on sarcasm and just automatically done it. So yeah, I did. This happens to me quite a lot. And I think it is just about just clarifying and saying, are you happy with this, or are you not? I'm not sure whether you were serious or not then. You're definitely happy. If you've got any kind of, I'm not sure whether they are going to be happy with this, ask the question, clarify, is there any more information they need? Do they need to give you anything else? So that's the 20th question finished. So that's 2/5 of the way through these videos. Thank you very much. And as with all of them, if you want to comment on this video, I'd love you to subscribe and share and all of those other good algorithm things as well. That would be brilliant. But other than that, if you could comment and share your experiences with this, that would be fantastic, and what your thoughts are, any benefits, any positives, any negatives, or how you mitigate or adjust. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.